Welcome to the Fantasy Goons podcast, part of the Pucks Out family. It's time to skip the book and find out the info you need to win your league with Bobby, Davey, and Brandon.
Welcome in to the Fantasy Goons. I'm Bobby. He's Davey. He's Brandon.
Heyo.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's get you the info you need to be a champ. It's our St. Paddy's Day episode. We've got some Guinness. We are talking some news, some weekly impressions. How are you guys this week?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Could be better with a little bit of the news. I've got a little bit of some shares of Andersley, who we so elegantly put hurt as fuck right now.
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's we watched a lot of college hockey. I know a lot of people are typically watching college basketball this time of year, and so I've been absorbing a lot of the college hockey. Like to see a lot of these guys who are getting ready to take the next level, and it's good to get a jump on them.
Trying to get an advantage on us.
You know how I play.
Nico Hischier has had successful surgery and to his sinus, and he's looking at about a 3-week return.
To his sinus?
Yeah.
Like his sinuses?
Yeah.
Dude, he was like, I'm having such a sinus attack.
He had a surgery to repair his frontal sinus fracture.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's weak. You don't even need your sinuses at all for hockey.
You remember the guy that
use some Flonase and get back in there?
You remember that player for Dallas one time that died on the bench and they revived him and they put him back in the game? That was like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah,
Rich Peverly.
Yeah. Did he go back in the game or did they take
him back out? Didn't they? Or he wanted to go back, and I don't think they brought him back.
I was like, I don't think the league would just allow. Like, yeah, he died. So he died and then scored a goal.
Yeah,
first dead man to ever score a goal in the league.
All right, but let's get into our weekly impressions. I'll start us off. The Flyers due for a great week. They've been kind of stagnant here for a bit, but they've got the Devils, the Rangers, and the Islanders. Islanders are looking good. But the Devils and Rangers, So I think this could be a week. I think they've got 4 or 5 games this week. This could be a, where they kind of, they got 4, where they could start to turn things around a little bit. Start padding those stats. So what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean they're definitely going to need it. They don't look great though. Hopefully for their sake, they're able to play well against the Islanders early on, and then go to the Devils and then Rangers. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening. Davey might win that bet.
Well,
they just want to make it interesting.
It's jumping the gun a little bit, but they are my loser this week, and for many, many reasons. But the goaltending's not there either. We're talking about a goaltender that was probably in the talk for to win the big award, but he wasn't, or the
dark horse for sure. But
yeah, I mean, he was talking in the beginning of the season. So I don't know, man. This team, they fell apart. It's like they were hit and miss this season. We were hot on them for a few weeks. We fell off them. We're back on them.
Well, it seems they've never quite. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they're just inconsistent.
They've never quite recovered, pun intended, from their big issue with COVID, where they had a bunch of guys in and outs, and I'm in agreement. I'm not really sure what to take from this team, especially in a tough division there in the East. I mean, the 4 teams above them right now, the Islanders, the Capitals, the Penguins, and the Bruins. Which one of those teams do you think they're going to overtake at this point? That's more of the tough question. Whereas, on the other,
how their games played look? Are they about par with the games played?
Yeah, the East is pretty on point. The Islanders having played 29, Washington 28, Pittsburgh 28, Boston 26, and Philadelphia 26. So a few games behind, but they are 11 points from the Islanders. So 3 games, even if you win every single one of them, you're still 5 points behind them.
It's tough.
So it's tough. I mean, only a +1 goal differential right now. I mean, it's a hard road that they have with the teams that they have to play, because they do have 2 of the bottom teams in New Jersey and New York. New York's been not looking fantastic or anything, but a lot better as of late than they were early on. Unfortunately, no Buffalo games for them this week, which would make them feel a lot better. But the bigger problem is that game against the Devils right off the back-to-back after a tough game against the Islanders. So the one game that you think, all right, they should be able to win this is after a really tough defensive matchup the next day. So hopefully, they're able to get it together, but I don't know that I would necessarily go as far as saying they're due for a good week.
Right. Right. I was just going to say, to answer your question, Bob, I sure as hell hope not for our bet, for our bet's sake. But
I'm looking at the remaining schedule. It's still, I was wondering if they had maybe played most their first half of the season against the big dogs, but it's looking, it looks like they have more games against the Islanders and the Devils than they do the other teams. They've still got they still have a 4-game series against the Devils. They've got a couple series against the Rangers. And they still have a couple series against the Sabres. So they're going to have to make the most out of those matchups.
Need those points.
They cannot afford to they can't afford to split series with a team like the Devils. They're going to have to come out and sweep a team like the Devils or pull something out of their ass and sweep a series against Pittsburgh. The good thing is they don't have any series against, they have an upcoming 3-game series against the Islanders. And that is the 18th through the 23rd. So they're gonna have to win 2 out of 3, I think, for that.
Definitely.
But I don't see that happening, unfortunately. But they're gonna have to make the most out of their remaining series against the Sabres and the Devils if they want to go far.
Well, the problem is the bet is who goes further in the playoffs.
Yeah, so first they have to make the playoffs.
Right, they have to make the playoffs. Columbus is also sitting at 5th in their division. 4 points behind Chicago. Much.
And look at their games played, though. Much more, isn't it, than the rest of the division, or a few more?
They have 30. Columbus has 30 games played at this point.
What's everyone else in that division? Like 26.
Florida's at 28. Carolina, Tampa at 27. Chicago also at 30. Nashville at 29. Dallas at 24. And Detroit. So not tons ahead of their division, but definitely. One would think more winnable games than the Flyers are going to potentially have. So it's going to be a close call.
Now, the Flyers did get back a couple guys off the IR this week, or this past week.
Lawton back?
I don't know. I know Farabee is back. I'll have to look to see if Lawton is back.
Lawton wasn't back this morning when I looked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Davey, what about you? Weekly impressions for yourself?
We can't go a week without talking about this team, I feel like. And I've got the Carolina Hurricanes. They did 8 games in a row. They won 8, and as of recording, they could win 9. So I don't quite know yet, based on our schedule here, but they have 3 relatively easy games this upcoming week. Detroit, 2 against Columbus. I expect some wins here. I expect their wins to keep piling up for this team. They have a group of guys that I would never have expected to be performing how they are. Example, Martin Necas, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points, all which, before this airs, of course, is where we're at. But there's also Jordan Stahl, 32-year-old, who's 3rd on the team in points. Unreal. I can't believe that. And Nino Niederreiter's even performing 18 points there. So we've got a lot of guys on this roster that are actually putting points up, including defensemen, which I've touched on previously. So it's just fun to keep on. They're always in my weekly impression, regardless if I talk about them here, because they consistently are wowing me.
What I'm most impressed about this team is their leader, the guy that is really, supposed to carry that squad. Aho is not even in the top 25 point because like you said, they're spreading this around, or at least not the top 20. He may be tied on the for 25 with 26 points. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, that's good to see.
Scott Lawton is back from injury now.
Okay, yeah, nice. That's what I thought. But yeah, that is mega. It's okay. Yeah. So he does have 25. So he's right there on the cusp, but it's good to see. It's not like he's playing bad or anything. That just means his team is playing good. So I really like that. Really like that call.
They have 5 players with over 20 points right now, and it's probably going to be 6 in the next day or two. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Mine is more of a, gosh, this season is getting so boring. Watching the same matchups over and over and over. It was exciting in the beginning because we got to see matchups we never got to see. But we didn't, think about, we're going to have to see it 456 times this year.
Yeah.
Man, it just does, I guess it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. It would make sense that they're only playing their division if they were bubbling. But yeah, I just don't get it. If you guys are all going home and traveling and stuff, like, I just don't understand the concept, I guess.
Yeah.
You guys are already not bubbling, or you're doing the testing. Like, what is the difference in me traveling from, Nashville to St. Louis as opposed to Nashville to Sunshine, Florida?
Right,
I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, and it's not fun for when you're watching your team and you don't get to watch them play against Ovechkin, or you don't get to watch them play against these other players. I'm kind of getting sick of the same players I'm watching over and over again for my teams. Mm-hmm. It's kind of getting old at this point, but I don't know. It's still good hockey, but it's
right. It's not bad. I want to be clear. It's not bad hockey. It's just boring. It's just boring hockey. So.
All right, moving into our pickups. I'm starting out with Alex Killorn with the Lightning, 42% rostered. He's a vet, 31 years old, but he's got 4 goals and 3 assists on 22 shots in his past 6 games. 3 of those 7 points counting with on the power play. He's on Tampa's top power play unit, which, besides that game against the Preds, they are a solid fantasy team. Last year he had 26 goals, 23 assists in 68 games. He's looks like he's in a similar swings, and if you're in a deeper league, he is a solid pickup.
Yeah, I think that it's Killorn. It's really quick. You kind of spaced it. It's not. I don't think it's Killorn. Okay. I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but
we botch names on this show all the time.
Oh, for sure. But I feel like we like to correct each other when we get a shot.
Yeah.
Yours sounds right.
Yeah. I think it's just quicker. Killorn. Alex Killorn.
It's
Killarnia.
Yeah.
No, I really like the pickup though. He's one of those guys. I think that, what?
Ilorn.
I take it back. Yours is now right again. Yeah, I like that pickup for sure. You can always be streaming in and out on those Lightning players. So for me, I have going with the hot squad right now, even after losing Anders Lee, a guy that could see some of that time creep his way, whether it's just by nature of moving up lines or taking his spot. Josh Bailey, 9% rostered. He's on the Islanders, obviously. Left wing, right wing, hot team right now. You know how I like to pick my guys from hot teams. Last week, 1 goal, 1 assist, a game-winning goal, 11 shots on goal, 1 hit, 1 block. Gonna get you a cat, be a cat monster for you across the board. Obviously could see, as I just said, some more time on ice with Anders Lee being out. And again, 9%. You should be able to go out there and locate him somewhere, at least in a couple of your leagues.
Yeah, good pick. Islanders right now is anyone on their team I feel like that you can get at this point that's seeing maybe third line, second line options or action, grab them.
Well, and they're not doing it in traditional Barry Trotz Islanders fashion. They're putting goals on the board.
Yeah.
So even if you're just on a points league, that's obviously a great opportunity. And, hopefully for your sake, if you pick him up, he gets a little time with old Matty Barzal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where you want to be these days, right? Fastest guy in the NHL.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I've got Mackenzie Wieger for the Florida Panthers defenseman. He's a first pair defenseman for them right now. Not seeing as much power play time, but he is getting mixed in there a little bit. So I hope that stat improves. But when I snagged him, he was 25% rostered. He's now 49%. So
is he playing with Ekblad?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, okay. They've been kind of switching things up a little bit, but for the most part, yes. And get him now if you can. He might be there. I know he's going to be 50% by the time this airs, if not more. So grab him now, especially if you need another defenseman.
Well, and if you listen to this late, I mean, it's going to be close to 100. I mean, with our suggestions.
Potentially. Yeah. So, I mean, 2 goals, 15 assists. He's going to get you shots, hits, and blocks. So he's got multiple categories for you. Plays for obviously a solid team in the Florida Panthers, who are still, I think, continuing to wow all of us.
The top team in the division at this point.
Yeah. So that's who I have, Mackenzie Wieger. If you can get him, grab him.
All right, moving into our stream of the week. The Preds. Could they be a diamond in the rough going for? I mean, they've got 2 against Detroit and 2 against Chicago. Listen, the Preds are
that sounded instead of telling people what team they should stream, you sounded more hopeful than anything.
That was definitely
the Preds. They don't know. That's why they're listening.
I'm coming to you guys with a question. I think the Preds could be a solid stream of the week. I never feel super confident. Even I'm trying to convince myself, to be honest. But
you gotta you gotta feel good coming off that win against Tampa. You know,
the young talent looks good, and a lot of that young talent, if you're in deep leagues, they're going to be available.
Yeah.
If you got Ellie Tolvanen or Dante Fabro available in your league, it's at least a look.
I guess my problem with the team is it's a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Yeah.
It's more of the issue of, could they go out this coming week and straight dominate? Sure. We've seen games this year where they look great.
Yeah. More than likely, they're going to split both 2-game series.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot of times what you see, I mean, you're watching that team play yesterday afternoon as of recording. All across the board. It's, they didn't score in the first period, but they didn't allow a goal in the first period.
Which for them is a huge improvement.
That's great. But again, against a Tampa team that is pretty dominant, we looked like the better hockey team all 3 periods. And that's been a rare occurrence to be able to say that. The Predators are a different team if they can play in the first period.
Mm-hmm.
They get themselves in a situation where when you get down, you can't be playing from behind in NHL. I mean, these guys, all of them, are professionals. They all get paid money to play hockey. So, I think that they could have a great week. But if you're asking, I don't know, man. I'm not.
And I don't hate the pick of the Preds for a stream because, like you said, the resurgence of these young guys who are coming into the lineup and taking control of the opportunity, and that's awesome to see. And it might pump some life into the team. And I don't know if you saw that Johansson interview a couple weeks back.
He was pissed.
Oh man, he was so angry. So I feel like the team. Now's the time if they really want to step it up and stop being the laughingstock of that division. Get it going.
Yeah. Well, and I do want to. Even though you came to the folks with a maybe stream of the week, maybe think about that. But I mean, we got to tout your Matty Ekholm pick. I mean, he has been fantastic since you gave him the kiss of, I guess not death, the kiss of life.
Kiss of life. Yeah.
You're the opposite of a Dementor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I just need him to hurry up and get traded to Philly so they can ride him into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think, as far as for team wise, that would be great for Philly just for your bet. But as far as for fantasy wise, I think he's right where he needs to be, and make you look like a genius.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. I have the Winnipeg Jets for my stream of the week this week. This team is starting to click, and I believe they have a solid chance of finishing first place in the North Division. I know that's a bold statement. You guys, I really do think they got a chance right now. They're not too far off from Toronto right now, and they're actually playing better hockey than Toronto is, and they've really picked it up. 4 games this week, 2 against the Canucks, 2 against the Flames. Those are games they can probably go out. They could sweep 4 games in this week, and easily they could. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to go 3 for 4, but 4 out of 4, it's possible in this scenario. Lots of depth with this team too. Guys like Stastny, Lowry, even Kopp. Lots of center depth. I mean, they've got plenty of options in the center position. Most of those guys are rosterable right now. So
and most of their guys that are playing center have dual eligibility, which is going to be great for fantasy value. For my team, I have the Oilers. They look like they have a good opportunity this week. 4 games, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Great streaming options for those days. 3 games against the Habs. And those are the Monday, Wednesday, Friday game, and then the Saturday game against the Leafs. I mean, that's obviously a team that we've talked a lot about on this league or in this show. go get some guys that have opportunities to play with those big guns. They're gonna continue to play since Mike Smith has got back. They've been doing a lot better. Always hit or miss. They seem to be the only team in the division that can beat Ottawa consistently. Yeah. So I'm looking at the Oilers this week as a good streaming candidate.
Big games against Montreal. Those will be big games because Montreal's within 3 points of them right now. I mean, that's gonna be fun hockey. They're both gonna want that one, and that's gonna be fun to watch.
We're gonna see a lot of shuffling.
Yeah.
Shuffling within that division. I feel like, and so that's something that I would be happy about. Obviously, Tyson Barrie's probably not available, but he's looking really good. McDavid, I hear he's doing okay this year.
Just a little bit.
Is he? Drysdale. It's all right. He's all right. He's okay. He's okay.
Putting the points.
So the Oilers are a team that I'm definitely looking at as an option to stream in this week.
Let's move into our tail and fade. I'll start us off. I'm tailing Calgary. It looks like they're starting to click a little bit. They've won 3 in a row. I think 4 out of their last 6. In that North Division, I mean, you take the wins that you can get.
Yeah. And
it seems like nobody's safe in that division. The moment the Leafs start to get any form of momentum, they'll drop something to the Senators. But what Buffalo needs is they need to be able to play Toronto for a couple games, and that'll kind of get them going. But no, I think Calgary is a solid winner this week. They've got a couple games coming up. I didn't put down what games I think they have 4 games this week. They're starting to kind of come into their own. Their big names are starting to finally perform. I would keep an eye on them this week.
Yeah, and just funny you brought up the Ottawa team. I think that they're 9 and I want to say 7 against the other top teams in the division, and like 1 and 7 against Edmonton. I was not joking, seemingly to be the only team that can consistently beat the team that they're supposed to beat right now.
No, I was going to say too with Calgary, they are a team that could absolutely sneak into that 4 spot and just barely get past Montreal. Montreal is not playing great hockey right now, and
got hot at the wrong time.
Exactly,
right?
and the Flames could easily turn things around. So I like that pick a lot. Calgary Flames, guys. It's funny how one week it's like, oh, the Calgary Flames are the laughingstock of the whole entire NHL, and they can't even do a warm up. And the next week, it's like they're actually starting to play good hockey again.
That is the thing about playing the same teams continuously over and over again. As you learn those teams, and it's hard to consistently beat the same team over and over again. I mean, eventually they're going to get your number. Davey, your team. I like your pick a whole lot.
Yeah, so I'm going back to the Islanders. Talk about these guys a little bit. This team's playing excellent hockey, flying under the radar, in my opinion. As of last Tuesday, they won 9 consecutive games. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Varlamov and Sorokin have been stellar, which goaltending under Trotz for the Isles has been excellent. I mean, I feel like the entire time there, goaltending's always been pretty solid over there. Now with Lee on long-term IR, they may add somebody too and going in. So they might add a little depth here. It'll be fun to watch what the Islanders do. They are playing good hockey at the right time, and I think they're going to hang on to this and just keep on pushing.
Just a little bonus pickup for you. Josh Bailey, obviously an Islanders guy. The guy that actually is playing top line with Barzal and Eberle, Kiefer Bellows.
Okay.
So he has 3 goals in his last 2 games, getting about 15 minutes of ice time. Left wing, right wing capability, 12% owned. That might be a guy to go look at as well, depending on how he's doing when this releases. So I like that pick. I kind of cheated. You picked the Jets on your stream of the week. I did not see that, and I have them as my winner for a lot of the same reasons that you had them there. Like you said, Morrissey is widely available.
Mm-hmm.
A Monday, Wednesday, Friday setup, playing against the Canucks and the Flames. Should be some good scoring in a battle, a division that is battling. So I went ahead and picked a little secondary pick to give additional information, so we're not all given the same team. The Panthers look like they have a really good option this week. Now, not as great for streaming wise because of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday game. 2 against the Blackhawks, 2 against the Stars, and they've been extremely hot right now. Barkov is looking great. Huberdeau is looking great. As you said, the young defenseman that they have, Ekblad, is looking great. So you can't go wrong heading to the top team in the division either. So since we already kind of talked about the Jets a little bit. Moving into the losers of the week, not because my answer is not because they're playing bad. It's generally what gets you onto my list of losers as usual. The LA Kings, they're playing great. 2 games this week, though. Now, both are against the Sharks. They are Monday and Wednesday games, so you can grab you a couple of games with that team. But they're not going to have any long-term streaming value for you if you're just looking to stream a guy in. A lot of times we want to stream somebody in that can get you 3 or 4 games as opposed to 2 early games in the week. So they'll definitely have some value early, but with ads at such a premium, it's not somewhere that I'd necessarily go to grab them, though they are looking a lot better as a team for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. I have the Philadelphia Flyers. This is kind of countering to Bobby's question earlier is, are they due for a break? Like, no. This is me saying, and I'm more talking about Carter Hart here in this situation. He was in the Vezina Trophy discussions entering the season. He had 24 wins last season with a 2.42 goals against average and a .914 save percentage last year. This year, 3.62 goals against average and a .884 save percentage. Looked awful in the Tahoe game. That was embarrassing. I didn't even enjoy that. Gave up 3 goals on 8 shots to the Sabres last week. Unbelievable. The Flyers, they need to win all of these so-called easy games that they have this upcoming week. 1 against Devils, 2 against the Rangers, which was not a walk in the park last week when they faced each other twice. I mean, it really wasn't. That was a weird game, that 5-4 win they snuck out. That was a strange one. But, it's a tough matchup against the Islanders, too. They play them this week, so that'll be interesting. But for the most part, this team, I think, is fading, and I don't foresee them coming back in. I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, yeah, I've got the Habs. They've been struggling lately, and I think that those struggles are going to continue until they can get something going from their young guys. And I mean, even their vets are not looking great. They're certainly not going to be the worst, but they're not going to be what they were in the first 2 months of the season.
A great schedule this week if you want to bet against Bobby, though, with a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday matchup. I mean, as far as scheduling goes, you can't get much better than that. But I mean, I'm with you. When your team's not playing good, it doesn't matter if you have 7 games this week.
Yeah. I mean, in a Cats league, they might be, maybe you can look at them, but in points leagues, they're struggling.
Where do you guys think Montreal is going to end up in this division? Do you think they're going to sneak in?
It depends on if they get hot again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's so crazy this year because there is not a division out there that I think there's a 4-team lock to go.
Yeah.
Even in the Honda West division, which is a little more clear cut than most, Bob's prediction is coming a little bit more true every day that we speak. The Kings are right there behind the Blues. Now, is that a issue with the Wild playing great and the Avs playing a lot better, and obviously Vegas being the dominant team in that division, or is it a product of the Blues being poor? So, but there's just shuffling. I think each week we've come in here, there's always someone new on top. Vegas is usually on top, and Toronto's been on top pretty much the whole season. But other than that, there has been shuffling. I think 2 weeks ago it was Washington was on top of the standings, and then it was the Islanders. And we've seen Philly up there before. The Central has got a pretty solid core of those 3 teams with the Panthers, Carolina, and Tampa. But they're all shuffling. We're not. It's kind of like musical chairs. It's going to be who is left without the chair at the end, almost in most of these divisions. So
yeah, like Florida's on top right now, but next week it's going to be Carolina, and then the next week it's going to be Tampa Bay, and then it's just going to keep shuffling.
So to answer you, I guess to actually answer the question, since it was posed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Calgary's really hot right now. I think that missing is a good opportunity.
That's where I'm leaning.
Unless they get extremely hot like they started off the year with.
Yeah.
Bobby, missing, making.
I think like what you said. If they get hot, but I'm going to say they make it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say they make it by less than 5 points.
Okay.
But yeah. So anything else anyone want to add on before we hop on out of here?
Nope, we're going to be tweeting out all of our stuff next week.
Yep, we'll be on hiatus next week, but we will get you all the stuff you need. So make sure you're following us on Twitter. We are currently at Pucks Out Pod. I believe that hopefully by next month we will have the Twitter for this show lined up. I'm getting hopefully some graphics made soon, and we'll start the transition and getting that started. But all right, guys, we will see y'all, I guess, in 2 weeks.
Peace.
This has been the Fantasy Goons podcast, brought to you by Standing Stone Farms. Listen to the boys every week and join in on the conversation on the three majors of social media.